Hello and welcome to Colin's Wonder. In this video, I will be going over a new format for a category of videos I will be creating called Ink Wars. So I'm going to briefly go over that format and show you my evaluation criteria of different inks. And before I dive too much into that, I just want to throw out a disclaimer. And that is that these are my subjective opinions, and I'm trying the best I can just to throw out my thoughts in real time as I go through these inks. And this may, I don't want you to get upset if there's an ink that you really like that I don't. Don't take it to heart. I just want to say that with both my pens and these inks, I actually appreciate them a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't have purchased them. I have a genuine love for pens and inks, and whether that be a cheap pen that's $10 or an expensive pen, I genuinely just love pens. And if the pen is good, I have an even fonder appreciation for it. And when I say good, again, it's subjective. So anyways, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into this new format. I have created new scorecards for Ink Wars. So let me jump to the Ink Wars section. So for this new format, I'm going to do things a little bit differently than I do for Pen Wars. In Pen Wars, I kind of go over one pen at a time to really kind of just in real time go over my thoughts. For Ink Wars, I'm going to approach it a little differently, at least in the beginning, and we'll see how things go. And I'm thinking about doing about 3 inks at a time. And as I'm evaluating these inks, I'm going to go over some real-time tests in video for the 3 main papers that I use. So Tomoe River, Midori, and Rhodia. And I will be evaluating, how well this ink holds up for ghosting, blotching, drying, the flow of the ink on the paper, how it feels to write with. And I will be scoring each paper a score of 10. And then I will add up all of the score, divide it by 150, and then multiply it by 40. And then and that's the writing tests. And then for the torture tests, I'm going to be writing on printer paper, receipt paper, and moleskin, because moleskin paper is kind of notorious for feathering, at least in my experience. So I will be evaluating feathering, bleeding, skipping, just, how well I think it holds up. And then the next category will be appearance. And this is again highly subjective, but I'm not going to be grading the color because generally speaking, I like blue more than most other colors. But if I have, say, a yellow ink, I'm not going to be grading it low because I don't like yellow as much as blue. It's how well I think that ink represents that color. So like if it's like great blue ink, or if it's like for other blue inks I like some more. That's kind of my take on it. And then just the overall looks of the ink itself. And then I have another category for features, and it's kind of like bonus points or bonus features. So, this includes sheening, shimmering, and, I might boost this score up because something that I wanted to do that I kind of forgot while I was making these scorecards is I generally want to know, and I haven't really done this, is just I want to get an idea of how well the inks will hold up with flexible nibs. So this is an example of a flexible nib pen, but I don't want to, it's kind of hard to, subject 3 inks at the same time with this pen, and I don't want to wear out the nib for this pen. So what I'll be doing instead is I will be using a dip pen for this with a flexible nib, and I'll just, dip it in each ink and just see how well it works in a flex pen. And hopefully that gives me a good idea how well it would hold up in this pen, with the caveat of like feed issues aside, right? Because, there might be feed issues with the ink, but at least I know can the ink, handle up to some flex. Oh, and something I also wanted to mention is, since I'm going to be doing 3 inks at the same time, I'm going to be using actual pens for these inks. So in the writing section, I've chosen to pick 3 of the same pen. So I have 3 Lamy Safaris. I felt like this was a good pen to just kind of go with as a baseline. It is a pen that's commonly recommended for people to get started with. They're very consistent writers. So I have 3 pens. They're different. They look different because I didn't pick up 3 demonstrator models. I already had one of these and I picked up 2 others. This just kind of helps me remember what ink is in what pen. And I will be, cleaning these out each week and refilling it with a new ink to go over the ink wars with for the writing section. And they're also all fine nibs. They're all the same nibs. So they're all Lamy fine, just regular standard nibs. For the torture test section, something very similar. I could use those same pens, but I thought, let's mix things up a little bit. And I got 3 of these Pilot Kunos. So these are all strictly identical, and they're all demonstrators. So I can hopefully easily see what ink is in what pen for the torture test section. And these are the pens I'll be using for the torture test. And this is the scorecard. So I also made some ink cards. And this actually took a bit longer to do, where I have little paper samples. So Tuamoi River, Midori, Rhodia, it's for the writing section. Torture, this is the printer paper. I'll just use it as itself. Receipt paper and moleskin. And I will try to set up a second camera angle so you can see closer as I'm writing. But I will also remember to kind of hold up all of the papers up closer for you, so you will be able to see them and compare them along with me when they're done drying. So yeah, I'm excited to introduce this new format. When I start to run out of inks, I might consider, adding just one or 2 new inks at a time as I evaluate them, and maybe comparing them to an ink I've already evaluated that's maybe similar in properties to the ink I purchased. For example, there's Polar Glow from Diamine has some other inks like I can't remember if it's Red Dragon or Blue Dragon, but those inks are kind of similar, so you can kind of compare them. But yeah, I'm excited for this new format. And if you have any inks that you would like compared, in the same video, I'm open to suggestions. So just let me know, and I'll try to get them in if I can. If you have any other suggestions, feel free to drop a comment. I don't mind. And I hope you have a good day. Thank you.